My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Best Quality Vacuum, the Duckfeed show about Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul.
Yeah, and this week we're talking about the episode Buyout, which was written by Jennifer Hutchison, directed by Colin Buxey, and it originally aired on August the 19th of 2012.
Yeah, and this is a Fallout episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is about the fallout from the last episode, Dead Freight. And we're kind of in the string of cliffhangers. I didn't really realize that until watching these two episodes, but you know, the last one ends right with Drew Sharp being shot. This one ends just with, before we learn Walt's plan for the future. We're getting these little episodes that are literally just stopping before the reveal, like an end of season, even though this is only the end of the half season kind of thing. But in a relatively short time, we were in that run up feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you recall in Dead Freight, Todd shot Drew Sharp because he saw them after the train heist.
Right. And Jesse and Mike can't stand for this.
Well, Jesse way more. Mike wants out because of the DEA.
Yes.
Mike isn't cool about this kid dying, but he's not shook by it. The DEA is increasing their attention on him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they want out. For their own reasons, and they plan to sell their share of the ocean of methylamine. They just went to great lengths in order to acquire. And this is bad for Walt because Walt doesn't want out. Walt wants to continue. Yes. Walt wants to execute on the plans they've been working on since Gus's death.
Yeah, Walt has many very divorced scenes in this episode. He's having problems with his family. And he basically says this is all he has left.
Yeah.
During this. And this also has one of my all-time favorite scenes. The dinner scene, Skyler and Jesse, is really good.
It's bad.
It's rough. It's intense. And that's what this episode is, talking.
Yeah, it's talking.
No big set pieces, but still a really good episode.
Yeah, yeah. We do get a new character introduced who at the time felt like he was going to be a real factor. More so than he is. We're introduced to Deaclan. The
Deaclan heads unite.
The lackadaisical, just kind of good enough. Meth boss from out in Phoenix, played by Louis Ferreira, who you might recognize as the lawyer from Saw 4.
Oh. I didn't, but I hadn't seen him in anything, so I assumed something.
Yeah.
We get to through him, not this episode, but we get to find out a new way you can cook meth, which is underground, but only in an underground and in an RV.
Yeah.
He kind of combines the two different ways that we've done it so far by burying an RV, which I think is very funny.
What if we buried a bus?
Yeah, really good.
Seems like great lengths to go to.
Yeah. It seems like he's going to be a problem, but then we find out about the neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Who are like Todd, the neo-Nazis, and Lydia being the villains of the 5th season.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
We begin with Fallout, an incredibly grim scene that makes the studio's decision to sell the complete series in a big plastic barrel feel kind of off to me.
It's super weird that they gave you a Drew Sharp.
Yeah.
Like when you bought that barrel, there's like a tiny little
boy.
Tiny little Drew Sharp action figure.
Just half dissolved. Yeah.
None of the joints have any friction to them, so it's always limp. Like you can't pose the Drew Sharp action figure. It can just lay in your tableaus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big truck full of dirt pulls into the garage of Omino's Pest, and we don't hear anything. It is just this droning music as they pull out and disassemble Drew's dirt bike, with a sawzall, and put the pieces into a big plastic barrel to be dissolved in acid. Yeah.
There's great characterization that happens through this.
Yeah.
Walt and Mike doing this very grimly, and Todd just getting to work.
Yeah.
They send Todd up into the dirt to pull Drew Sharp out, and he has no feelings about it. He's just pulling the kid out here. I also like how, when Breaking Bad's the whole thing of making, crime a pain in the ass, how much of a pain in the ass it would be to disassemble a dirt bike piece by piece. Mm-hmm. This shit would suck. This is the work. Walt gets out another barrel for Drew. Todd goes outside to have a smoke with Jesse and starts making small talk with him.
Yeah.
Very funny. Just again, this guy, he's like, you guys didn't tell me this stuff smells like cat piss. And then, Jesse doesn't respond. He goes, yeah, man, shit happens, huh? Like just real good echo of Skylar.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids live in a house where people getting hurt just is written off as shit happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesse responds appropriately, punches him straight in the face.
Yep.
Yeah.
We immediately cut over to the discussion. Everyone's in the office. Todd is trying to explain himself. I had to do it. I thought over my options. I didn't want to do it. You have to understand that. But I was thinking on my feet. I saw a threat and I took care of it. And Jesse says, we don't know the kid was the kid was not a threat.
Yeah.
He had nobody seen. He was waving.
Uh-huh.
There's no threat. And Todd says, you told me nobody could see this. At the end of the day, it was him or us, and I chose us, and I would do that again. My uncle, my uncle's got some connections in prison.
Yeah.
He mentions that.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to get in trouble, basically. It's real kid coded.
Oh, this has huge, being taken into the principal's office kind of vibes, just the slippery self-justification. And I made special note of that. At the end of the day, it was him or us, and I chose us, and I would do it again. Pretty much exactly what Walt said about Gail. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Echoing that intentionally, it feels, and he only brings up the hookups in prison on the way out as a last minute ploy. I don't even know if he understands that he is making a threat with this. I think he's trying to demonstrate his value at some point. Yeah.
Mike thinks he's doing a threat.
Yes.
Or Jesse thinks so, and then Mike thinks he's flexing. It's like, oh, is that true? What the hell was that? Was that a threat? And Mike's like, no, he does have the connections. He's just flexing.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about it then. I'm not worried about it now. They send Todd out, and Jesse, he's like, guy's a fucking whack job. We didn't have a chance to do this because Ricky Hitler made the choice for us.
Yeah.
Fucking great. And Walt is the practical incarnation. Listen, he has a point. We can't know what the kid saw. If the kid told people that we were out there, there'd be questions.
Yes.
And Jesse's like, yeah, we don't know what he saw. We can't because he fucking shot him.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. This should have been a decision between the three of us.
And remember the killing of Tomas, for whatever reasons were there, that was intolerable to Jesse.
Jesse loves kids.
Yeah.
Same thing with Brock being poisoned. Jesse loves kids. It's his defining, redemption trait.
Yes. Yeah. God, I love calling Todd Ricky Hitler.
Yeah, Ricky Hitler is pretty good. It's also, I love that, the obvious, the weird kind of foreshadowing. He doesn't know they're actually Nazi connections. Yeah. Todd doesn't have any of the cool tats that Uncle Jack has.
He doesn't have that rockabilly style.
He doesn't have rockabilly style. Did you see the Hard Times or whatever? It was like, baby of rockabilly couple never knows any idea what the fuck is happening. And it just showed a baby and then a rockabilly couple out at a rockabilly hookup with a bunch of fancy old cars dressed up, and there's somebody dancing in a pencil skirt and shit. The baby is just looking at the camera like, what the fuck?
Constantly wondering what the fuck is going on.
It's real good.
God, yeah. Man, that is really funny. I hadn't seen that, but I just looked it up. Yeah. So Walt lays out the options here. After Mike says, I knew it. I vetted him. But it's not as big as he says. But Walt says, okay, we have the options. We fire Todd, and we pay him off to keep him quiet. And God knows we've got enough of that going on. Just taking a little
looks at Mike.
Yeah.
Dispose of him. Nobody likes this. And then keep him close. Keep him on the payroll. This is my choice. It would be Walt's choice, and Mike agrees.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't want it. Mike would probably be fine paying him off, but doesn't want to deal with Walt. Being a baby about it.
Yeah.
And Jesse gets outvoted. Yeah.
Yeah. Gets outvoted. How much right now do you think that Walt is seeing him as a really pliant, toady for him? Like somebody he can shape and somebody who will do exactly what he says.
I don't know necessarily that Walt's thinking about that.
Yeah.
Do you mean Walt thinking about Todd?
Yeah, Walt thinking about Todd that way.
I don't think I think this is still, we talked about it a little bit last episode. Walt is entirely in reaction mode during this. Every time Walt plans, he's never planning more than a step ahead.
Yeah.
So like, yes, that's ultimately going to be how he uses Todd, but that he also, I think he knows Todd's an idiot.
Yeah.
He wants muscle. He wants to be the kingpin. He wants all of this stuff, but I don't think he's thinking more than one step ahead.
Yeah.
For this.
I don't have an opinion. I just, knowing what comes up and like the little bits there, like the awe that he expressed, at the plan, right? And him straight up saying here what Walt said about Gale.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably understands at least a little bit that it would be hypocritical of him to look out on this, but he's really, every time somebody dies in this, it's always going to be added to the pile. Fuck it.
Yeah.
For Walt. Like he just can't think about it. There are bits where he, later when he starts cooking with Todd and he's like, Todd's like, you don't pay me until I get it. And Walt's like, this kid's got gumption. You get a little bit more of it then.
Yeah.
But I think at this point he would still prefer to keep Jesse happy. He just doesn't want to pay the extra money.
Yeah.
Todd.
So Mike goes and tells Todd, "Hey, you're still in," and then throttles him. Just gets him by the neck and pins him up against a cabinet, saying, "The next time you bring a gun to a job without telling me, I will stick it up your ass sideways. Do you understand?"
Yeah. He leaves. Todd goes out to his truck, to his El Camino, and looks at the tarantula. He took Drew Sharp's tarantula baby.
Yeah. Do you think he is intentionally holding evidence, or is this just him being childlike?
I think it's him being childlike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Drew picked up that tarantula out on the thing. There's no evidence, I don't think.
Oh, I mean, it has his fingerprints on it.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's probably true.
Yeah.
Unless Todd got his grubby little hands on it doing tarantula shakes.
It's going to give it splat or whatever that syndrome is, where you drop it.
He's just into shake. You never shake a baby, but you can shake a tarantula
if you want to.
Yeah. So we cut over to Gomi checking in on a guy who's watching Mike. Mike's playing with Kaylee at the park, and Mike, writes something down on a little piece of paper, puts it under a trash can, and leaves with Kaylee. And they're like, "We fucking got him." Gomi thinks, dead drop. We got his ass, and goes to pick up the trash can where Mike put the note. There. And Mike just wrote "fuck you" in big letters, which isn't illegal.
Which is what?
Not illegal.
Yeah.
To write down swears and put them under trash cans.
Nope. And he had no idea who was going to find it.
No, exactly.
And later on, Mike's at his house listening to the audio from Hank's bug. It's kind of fast forwarding through things, and then gets to Gomez talking about him, saying like, yeah, no, he keeps on throwing our tails. He feels like he's always aware of us. And Hank says, yeah, no, he's a pro, but even pros make mistakes. We just have to be there when he slips up. Yeah. And Mike knows enough to know that, yeah, that's eventually going to happen.
Yeah, this is unsustainable. This is kind of a Mike highlight episode. Like we spend time with Mike in this a couple times. Skylar is at Hank and Marie's, holding Holly, lying about seeing a therapist, and she starts crying. She breaks down. Yeah. Marie, tells Skylar, like, you have to talk to me. You have to open up. And she can't completely open up, but she starts saying things that are kind of, they're true. Like, I just need to make the right decision. Both decisions I make are wrong. I need them to be safe. I need the kids to be safe.
Yeah. And Marie asks, just what does that mean? Safe
from whom?
From whom? And you just thinks like, oh, you're great parents. Look at your great kids. Blah blah blah. And Skylar can't say. Says they need to be safe from me and Walt. Marie, there are things that you just don't know that if you knew, you'd never speak to me again. Yeah. And Marie says, "Try me," thinking that she's talking about the affair.
Yep. And Skylar freezes, doesn't say anything, and Marie steps in and says, listen, you need to forgive yourself for Ted. He's a very handsome man.
Even I've thought.
You're like human. And Skylar gets pissed during this. This has been pinned on me as well. Walt thought of everything. You were just having these problems with Walt. It's okay. And you can see the gears turning in Skylar's head. This kind of pulls her out of that funk. Yeah. That way that anger is an energy that can kind of be revitalizing.
Yeah. Can take you off of one track onto another. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Really chilling scene. Walt and Jesse are finishing up lunch at this house, watching TV. They change the channel, and it's a news story about Drew Sharp, the missing boy. Walt turns off the TV and starts giving him the justification. thing.
Yeah.
You know, nothing can change this. It's already done.
Just learning the name too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh gosh. And Jesse is thinking like, oh my gosh, I just can't stop thinking about the parents. They're never going to find them. They're never going to find him.
Yeah. He's just disappeared. Walt's like, yeah, it's been breaking me up too, man. I've been unable to sleep, kids. But listen, we're set up now. We have this methylamine. We're independent. You and I, we can just cook through this. We can do it our way. We'll be done with this in a year, and nothing like this will ever happen again.
Right. We can stop after that, which is the hollowest promise.
Exactly. It's an addict's promise, and which is ironic. I never really put that together, but he is using addict justification back at Jesse, who was doing the same things as an addict. Like there are parallels to this with him and Jane. We'll stop after this. Jesse is still crying, and Walt says, "Hey, take the rest of the day off. Like I'll take care of this." And Walt gets back to it, but he's whistling.
Yeah,
he's just dead kid whistling.
Yep.
It sounded like The Gambler to me. I was trying to pick out the tune. I thought it was maybe The Gambler.
According to a wiki, and I'm not sure of this, it's a tune to a song called "Lily of the Valley," which is a little clever
A little
to
cutesy.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love whistling evidence.
But Jesse's just getting his coat and just standing there looking at this person who supposedly can't sleep, who is literally whistling while he works. This is the last time that they cook together.
Yeah, this is momentous. Jesse gets a call, asking where he is. He already had something in mind.
Yeah.
We get to Walt coming to the Vamonos Pest Garage, and Mike pulls him in. May as well get this over with. Pulls him in and says, "Listen, I've had to throw 3 DEA tails on my way over here. I parked around the block. You might want to think about that as well." And Walt is losing his mind.
Yeah.
The DEA is after you. Did you lead them here? No, Walt.
That's why I said I lost them.
I lost them. I didn't bring the cops to our illegal meth operation. And he basically says, this is unsustainable. I want out.
Yeah. DA's after me, in particular, your peach of a brother-in-law. Like, there's just can't do it. Yeah.
Yep. And I love this little bit of Walt continuing to treat things like a job, where he's like, obviously you'll stay on long enough to teach Jesse distribution. Like you have to train your replacement, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, fuck, man. Like, again, this is a legal meth operation. No matter how much you want this to operate like, a W-2 job, it's not going to.
Nope.
You just buried a kid.
Yeah.
You cannot enforce normalcy on this through willpower.
No. No. And this is when Jesse breaks. I'm out too. Like you can't make boss decisions about me. Like, no, I'm gone.
And he's, I can't believe you're walking away from that. That's, $300 million worth of meth. And they say, no, we are walking away from the meth, but not the methylamine.
Yeah.
We have this connection from Fring. We're selling our 2/3 of the precursor. And Jesse, I like this a lot because I like Jess and Walt's relationship. Anytime there's affection, when Jesse is saying to Walt, like, you should consider getting out too. Like, I think this is said out of care.
Yeah.
He understands that Walt is being callous about Drew Sharp and everything. It's almost like he can see his, him losing his soul.
Yeah.
But that's like, you should consider getting out too. This shit's bad for us.
It's probably too late, but also it's never too late. Like, this is it's dangerous. We're running for a reason. You should run for the same reason.
Yeah. This shit sucks.
Yeah.
And Walt is furious. Oh, you're going to be selling to my competitors, and again, I love Mike correcting Walt. Like, it's a big country, Walt. A lot of meth heads out there. This is, an entirely different state. And Walt gets mad at turns. Like, he's just lashing out. Everything he's lashing out about gets an answer. And he plays like this last little bit of leverage he thinks he has at Jesse, just being like, this is so little fucking money. You're selling out your stake for pennies on the dollar. And Jesse has to reality check him and be like, $5 million isn't pennies. More money than I've ever seen or ever will see. When it comes down to it, are we in the meth business or the money business? Like, you're trying to make a number go up.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
It's like running up against, like, this is not his identity like it is for Walt, or it has become for Walt. Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse and Mike go to meet their buyer, Deaclan. Gwen, if you want to put in a special Deaclan jingle whenever Deaclan comes up, or the Deaclan horn or something. For Deaclan heads, because I feel like they're going to appreciate it. Deaclan heads have not been eaten good for the last like 20 years.
Yeah.
Before the show came out, they couldn't eat. You love Declan. It's been hard times.
Yeah, extremely hard times. God, I love when Jesse calls him Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's got the sideburns. It's great.
Yeah.
They brought a gallon of the stuff saying like, hey, here's a gallon of it for free. Take it back to your guys and test it, so it's quality. And then we can arrange for the other, 10 million. Right.
Yeah.
It'd be great if you rounded it up to 10, be easier for me and my partner to split.
Yep. And Declan says, that's worth it just to get the blue stuff off the market. And you get to see Mike and Jesse look a little bit uncomfortable with this. Mm-hmm. And says, they will be off the market, right? They don't answer. And says, 666 gallons is a weird number. I bet you there's 1,000 and there's another partner I don't know about.
Yeah.
And Mike is just pushing, he doesn't answer for this. That's not going to be your problem. And Declan says, no, I'm not buying supply, I'm buying demand. Mm-hmm. I will do 15 million, but I need the full 1,000 gallons. Otherwise, no deal.
Yeah. And they're stuck in an irreconcilable contradiction here. Can't sell unless they have everything, and Walt won't sell. So
there's a great little bit here. We leave the scene before this scene is over, because Mike agrees to this. Yeah. This thing. Eventually, Jesse comes to go explain it, but they make a decision. We're not privy to it. We just have to fill it in the margins. Like, I love that we leave the scene before this is done. It feels like it's done, but it's not. Yeah. It gets backported in.
Yeah. So Walt gets a call from Jesse and says, just come over to the house. It's fine. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Walt is pouting big time.
Oh,
Walt's walking around drinking booze and pouting. Again, this is some of the most divorced he's ever been while living in the house with his wife.
Like none of the lights are on.
Yeah, it's real grim.
And Jesse comes over and explains the hitch in the deal. They won't sell unless they can get the whole thing. And Walt rejects it. And Jesse, is trying to bring up things Walt said in the past. Says like, I know, like again, $5 million is not nothing. We never even dreamed of 5 million when we started. In fact, I knew exactly how much you needed because you figured it out. Like, you calculated it all up. You only needed $737,000. Isn't this what you've been working for?
Yeah. Walt says, we've suffered and bled too much to sell it for nothing. Jesse's, this is not nothing. And then Walt explains gray matter, what happened with that. Gray matter had a couple of minor patents, was about to take the world by storm, but something happened. It doesn't say what. This has been heavily implied to be romantic, with Gretchen, something. He took a buyout for $5,000. And he says, like, now that company's worth $2.16 billion. And he looks it up once a week. Boy, that's self-harm behavior.
Yeah, that is so fucking revealing.
Yeah, that's really bleak.
Yeah.
And he's, I sold my kid's birthright for a few months' rent. Like, that is a thing to regret. Uh-huh. You can be a Pete Best of gray matter and feel shitty about it. Like, that does suck.
Yeah.
But again, the scale here is fucked up. He's just doing numbers games like all greedy people. Like, you don't need that part of a company of 2.6 billion. 5 billion's plenty for everything. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Everybody will be set up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And Jesse, you asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business. Sitting in his easy chair, swirling a snifter of brown liquor, trying to do his best, like Godfather.
He's like Dr. Claw or some shit in this. That is what's happening. He is in the empire. He wants to build. He wants to be Gus Fring, not just get the numbers, but he wants everything according to that. And that's been his whole thing. Like, the entire thing of him not getting respect in exchange for his sacrifice.
Yes.
You go back to him being upset about laundering his money through Junior's website. That's just cyber begging. Like, it can't just be a relative who died who gave me the money. I have to have done it.
Yeah. And it's something that once you start seeing it, you see it fucking everywhere. It's not enough that I get what I want. I need to be thanked for it.
I need the credit. Yeah. I want people to treat me like they treated Gus.
Yeah.
I want people to be scared and in awe of me and do what I say. Like, I want power. And like, that is that when you say you see that everywhere, like, not just on the show or in fiction generally, but everywhere in the fucking world.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, that like this, it's at the core of the, like a lot of the free speech bullshit.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuff.
Yeah.
It should be illegal for people to be mad at me. Like, I'm a billionaire. Not only do I need to not to have my billions, it should be illegal for people to be mean about me online.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I need to be Gus Fring.
Like,
I can't be Walter White and
it's
made fun of.
It's not enough for you to say nice things about me now. You have to have never said the things you said previously, and also I should get the fawning adoration that I have. It's the logic.
Prizes for watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's the logic of the the backlash against trying to instigate police reform. Like you saw it all over the place, where no cop budgets were dropped. In fact, they were raised, but they're still sulking because people criticized them.
Yes.
And still not doing their work. Yeah. Baby brain shit. Yeah.
It sucks. And Jesse's like, I don't know, Mr. White, is a meth empire really something to be proud of? Mm-hmm. Like, reminder, we serve poison for people who want to kill themselves. Mm-hmm. This isn't big business. Skylar walks in and interrupts this. And I love Jesse's fucking deer in headlights.
Yeah. He's like, the body language on this is so great. Like he starts and stands up, but then he almost tries to cover his face a little bit.
Yeah.
And just
he's gonna, the PTA disbanded. He's going to fucking dive out the window. It's really good. And then Walt just is introduces him, and Walt does a really gross flex.
Yeah.
Stay for dinner. And Jesse doesn't want to do this, and Walt looks at him and goes, stay. And then looks at Skylar until Skylar just goes, yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it. Really good stuff.
Yeah. God, one of the best things about season 5 is getting Jesse with people he does not get to pair with.
Yeah.
It is such a rare treat, but the stuff with him and Hank and Marie later on is so good.
It's real good.
And this scene is just such a standout. It is so brutal. The header on this section, the notes is move over The Office.
It's very The Dinner Party.
Yeah.
The best episode of The Office.
Yeah.
So the three of them sit down to dinner. Jesse's sitting between them, not in Flynn's usually seat, kind of across. And Jesse wants to fill the air with small talk while they angrily eat at each other.
Yeah. Just a terrible situation in this silence. Oh, these green beans, these are great.
Oh, you slivered the almonds. Those are really good.
There's a lemon in here.
They're from the deli at Albertsons.
Yeah. Well, then good work on your shopping then. He's writhing like him just kind of rubbing his face during this.
Very good. Skylar pours herself a big tall pour of wine. And Jesse's like, yeah, most of the stuff I eat is frozen. You look at lasagna and you're stoked to have this good ass lasagna, but then when it comes out, it's not good. It's it's that cheese scab on the top. It's eating the scab.
You're eating scabs, It's whatever happened to truth in advertising, And it gets nothing. Him taking the drink and then just looking out of the side of his eye at them, just like that little comedy beat, and he just goes, "Yeah, it's bad."
It's fucking incredible. One of the biggest times I've laughed. It comes up in a second here too in the show. Yeah. So Jesse goes, hey, how's the car wash going? Mr. White says you're a good manager. Just making small talk. He tells somebody's wife, oh yeah, your husband says great things about you.
Yeah.
And she knows this is bullshit. Walt doesn't talk about the car wash at meth job.
Yeah.
She goes, oh yeah, what else does he say about me? And just Jesse, squirming. Oh, just good stuff. Did you also tell him about my affair? And Jesse takes a really long drink.
This is the long drink. Yeah.
It's really good. And then the biggest laugh I've gotten in the series, Skylar sees herself, takes the wine bottle, and Walt goes, my kids are gone. And she goes, thank God. I forgot about this. That was, it's the opposite of a jump scare. It was a jump laugh. Because you're kind of uncomfortable and you get this perfect delivery of that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
It's okay, the parade of torture is over.
And Walt being no, not just now. They're out of the house.
Yeah.
Not just they didn't have to be here for this, but
and just you see the way that she's treating me in this situation that I conspired to make uncomfortable specifically. But you see, and do you know that my wife just, my family's blown apart. My wife is counting the days until my cancer comes back.
Yeah. And he says, and I think he's being genuine when he says this, there's a rare moment of self-awareness. This business is all I have left now, and you want to take it from me. So Walt comes into the garage, he sets an alarm. He wakes up in the middle of the night. He's already dressed to try to steal the methylamine. But Mike anticipated this. I knew this would happen. Come join me in the office. And Walt starts talking to him. And he goes, come in. It's not a request. And holds out a gun.
Yeah.
And he basically, he's going to manhandle. He's going to dog walk him. We're going to stay here all night and ensure nothing happens.
Yep.
The full 1,000 gallons are going to be sold.
You'll
agreed
get
to
your
this.
money. Yeah.
You're going to get your money. I'm not trying to rip you off, but this is not optional.
Yeah. And Walt continues trying to bargain, trying to talk up how much he can, make with that money. I've never seen anybody work so hard not to get $5 million.
Take yes for an answer, Walt.
Yes.
And he says, Mike, you need to listen to me. And no, Walter, the last thing I need to do is listen to you. The time for talking is done.
Yes.
And they sit there all night. Just, real awkwardly. It's morning and Mike says, I have a conundrum. I have something I have to do before the deal. But I so I have to leave. And he restrains Walt.
Yeah.
Frisks him and zip ties him to the radiator.
Yeah. I love the little sorry at that. Regardless of how much he hates him, this is an incredibly degrading thing to do to somebody.
Yeah. He's dog walking him.
Yeah.
Mike leaves, so Walt has to escape. He first tries to yank the coffee maker over so he can get the glass from it. But the craft rolls away, so he can't do it.
There's a 10-foot long cord on this coffee maker.
It's real silly. As a thing. He ultimately does a little science stuff.
Yeah.
He takes the cord for it, turns off the power strip. I would love the alternate cut where he doesn't turn off the power strip. He just sticks the thing in his mouth.
Credits.
But he makes a little electric current.
Yes.
To burn the plastic. And it looks like it hurts a lot. And I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's after he's done, he just rushes over to the water cooler to, soothe his burnt skin. He really, really wanted out of that radiator trap.
Yeah. We cut over to what Mike's been doing. He's in a DEA interrogation room with Gomi, Hank, and Saul's there. And Saul is serving a warrant. The DEA has been harassing my client for no reason. The poor man can't even spend a minute with his granddaughter here. Hank is being, cagey. If this were happening, it would be entirely within the bounds of the law.
Yeah.
And Saul goes, but some people could say an open-ended investigation with no arrest is tantamount to stalking.
Yeah.
Sadly, he's just not into you. I'm going to fire a restraining order.
Yes. And Hank asks where Saul got his law degree.
He asked where he got his suit. Did you get the suit at the same place you got your law degree?
Yeah.
Who likes this suit?
It was, where'd you get your law degree? The same clown college where you got your suit. And Saul says, who loves my suit? Judge Papadomian.
Yeah. You know what Judge Papadomian hates? Harassment of senior citizens.
And then he apologizes to Mike.
Yeah. They go back out to the car. Saul and Mike are listening to the bug.
Yes.
And it's okay, we have to call off the tails for now. This isn't going to stand. And he's, I hope you did the correct thing here, Mike. His hard on for you just reached Uncle Milty proportions.
Yeah.
Referring to Milton Berle's gigantic hog.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that Milton Berle had one of history's absolute porkers.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he was hanging knee deep. My favorite thing about that is people, that reputation, preceded him, and people would try and challenge him. Say, okay, come on, let's say, and he would never pull the whole thing out. He says, I just pull out enough to beat them.
Yeah. It reminds me of, I read a lot of R. Crumb comics. R. Crumb was influential to me as a 20-year-old, in my 20s, early, being aware of counterculture shit. And that guy's got a huge dick.
Yep.
And talks about it and stuff. And it's the way he talks about it with fear as he's growing up is really great. There's a lot of scenes of him drawing himself in a bathtub and being like, this is fucking horrifying. He just keeps getting bigger. You get that kind of huge dick. It is a logistical nightmare is my understanding.
Yeah.
Very happy with my average size dick.
Yeah.
Mike, basically how long will this last? Maybe 24 hours. He's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm getting out. Mike returns to the garage and the methylamine is missing.
Yeah.
This is great. immediately goes in. The camera's close following his shoulders. It's like handheld camera, really good. Puts a gun to Walt's head, and Jesse flips out. Trying to defend it. Hear him out. He's figured it out.
Yeah. There's a way to get the money and for Walt to keep the methylamine.
Yep.
Is that true, Walter? And Walter just looking up with a gun to his head. Everybody wins.
Yep.
Just looking
Everybody
smug.
Wins was going to be the name of the next episode, which I like better than the actual name of the next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the end of this, again on a cliffhanger. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what's going to go on. They want us to watch the next episode immediately. And back in the day, we had to wait a week.
Whole week.
So, yeah. And that's going to be it for this episode.
Good episode.
Yeah. Great episode. Season 5 is great.
Yeah.
It's all good. There's not there are episodes of the show that are not the best in the world, but it's a great show.
Yeah. And just, I don't know, just the sense of just like starting the losing control and oversteering here. It's like, we hit a couple of bumps and then suddenly just we're all over the road in a gradual way. Yeah.
That, and I love, nobody gets let off the hook in this show for arbitrary reasons. The events of the last episode happened, and it's a human life. One of the things about the violence of this show, when people talk about that in a derogatory way, is that none of it is without consequence. Yeah. Ever. The effects of that little moment of violence, like that's not a shocking, Game of Thrones season 1-esque, thing. It ruins everything. Yeah. Everyone is stewing in it. Like the idea that, you could watch this and see them take out Gus and be like, it's pretty unbelievable that they just started a new meth empire and they get away with it. They fucking don't.
Yeah.
They're not. Hank's not an idiot. Like there is plenty of evidence, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work in slow motion. Yeah. And the principles behind it find out one by one that's not working until, Walt never really does.
Yeah. And the death of Drew Sharp is not forgotten, right? Like,
yes.
Basically after the whole thing gets blown wide open, he is still mentioned, in El Camino, like just in tabulating
There's a whole
all
fucking
of the
season
crimes.
of Better Call Saul about him, where he's in grade school, and Saul shows up to bring as a assembly. It's real weird they meet.
Yeah, to get him out of to get him out of trouble with the principal.
Yeah. Huel pushes him on a swing. They do not forget about Drew Sharp. The Drew Sharp Chronicles are coming.
But I just I say that only to say, like, even the stuff in the future in Better Call Saul, like the death of Drew Sharp is still tallied. Yes. Yeah. I
think it's brought up in all the things. I think it's brought up in El Camino as well. Yeah. On the news, if I recall. But yeah, it's always important. Yeah. And that's what I want from violence. Like when people talk about violence in media in a derisive way, it can feel very reductive to me because it feels like they're judging on pass fail. Whereas for me, if violence has consequence, like that's just storytelling. It's a thing that happens in real life and is on the table to tell stories about. Yeah. Yeah. A kid dying is not a automatic black mark on something if it's not done cheaply.
Yes.
And it's not done cheaply here. Nope. Yeah, I would argue the other more controversial thing that happens in this with the sex assault stuff with Skylar, also not done cheaply. Like a whole generation of fans, buy Walter White posters because they're fucking idiots. But it's not Breaking Bad's fault. Like that is a specific character moment. It is, that is happening here. It has consequences for the entire relationship. That relationship never repairs. For the entire series. That contributes to everything that happens later between them. Yeah. Maybe that, I don't know if that makes me a bad media consumer, but that is enough to justify atrocity portrayed. Yeah. For me.
Just the bill comes due, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If it's paid, I'm happy. Yeah. If you're listening to this, we appreciate you. If you want to support the network, go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. You can pay $5 a month, get a bunch of bonus shows. We think you'll like them. Also tell your friends about our shows, leave us ratings, reviews, talk about us online, things like that. If you can't do that, we understand. That's when you do that later stuff. That's free. Yeah. It's free to leave a rating or review.
It's also free to thank our producer, Gwen, who also composed our theme song.
Yeah. Thank you, Gwen. Yeah. And until next time, take yes for an answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Just accept $5 million.
I don't have methylamine, but I would sell it if I had it for $5 million. It'd be pretty sick.
I wouldn't want to hold on to it for too long.
No, I don't want to be around it. I don't want to breathe it. It smells like cat piss. I assume. They keep using cat piss as how things smell in this. Meth smells like cat piss. The acid smells like cat piss. Not a good smell.